Well, I am so excited today to introduce Melody Goving, National Executive Director, to our special call. Melody has been a rock star in getting to National Director this last year, and we are so excited. Melody, I'd like you to tell your story before you get into your topic, because I could introduce you, but you know all the things that really make your story special. So take it away, girl.
For sure. And I always like to share with my story because I think that I am, I think I'm the person at your show that you will look.
Oh, we got to mute all. Hold
Okay.
on 1 second.
All right.
Hold on, mute all. And then we'll have to unmute
I got
you.
it. You're good. Okay. So, I'm the person at your show that you will typically look over and shy away from because, I've been with Pampered Chef for 16 years actually. And I started when we had a 3-month-old baby. I had become a stay-at-home mom and we were looking for ways to make, ends meet. And, I was actually borrowing money for groceries and we were behind on our mortgage. And I can tell you the most humbling experience was walking into our church and asking our priest if I could have money for groceries. So when I learned about Pampered Chef, I was actually looking at different companies and decided to go with Pampered Chef. I went to a cooking show and I fell in love, but when I looked at the catalog, I knew I could not afford a single thing in that catalog, but I saw how much passion the people in the room had for the products. And so that's why I decided to give it a try. And I actually used bill money to purchase my kit. And I do tell people, do not recommend that to people because I don't think that that's a great way to start a business. But the reason I share that is because it shows you how desperate I was to change something in my life. Like I was desperate enough to use our bill money and then our phones got shut off. Our cell phone and our home phone got shut off 2 weeks into my business. So a year into my business, I promoted to director. Then we lost our house to foreclosure. And then I quickly moved to advanced director. We moved from Atlanta to Chattanooga, and then stayed there for several years before moving to Knoxville, Tennessee, where we currently live. And so I've moved my business, like 2 really big moves since I started and in my 16 years. And we also homeschool our 3 children. So I'm one of those crazy people because we've been homeschooling for 8 years. And I'm the most okayest homeschool mom ever. So not great at it, but I do okay at getting my kids through. So we also attend a co-op and I teach a baking class at our co-op. So all of that being said, and, I went through a lot of challenges. My brother passed away. My dad passed away. I've lost grandparents. I just a couple of weeks ago lost my last living grandparent. And so, and all those challenges, the reason I share that about challenges is because life happens. And in the midst of it, it makes you want to quit. And, all the things we went through this summer, I know a lot of people probably thought about quitting a time or two, and everybody's going to have obstacles. It doesn't matter if you stick around long enough, you're going to have obstacles. So that's a little bit about my story. The only last thing I want to say is I sat at advanced director for 9 years because I didn't believe in myself enough to move forward. And then in 2015, my husband told me that our credit card debt was going up instead of down, because I wasn't making enough money. And so he said he was either going to get a second job, or I was going to have to step up my business. And so of course I made the decision to step up my business and move to senior director. Went to executive, and then I lost my executive title, went back to executive, senior executive, and national, all within a year's time. Within the moving back up, all within a year's time. So I actually want to talk a little bit about mindset. Nancy Jo, I hope that's okay, because I really feel like that the reason that what holds us back from recruiting and developing leaders is our mindset. And so I'm actually going to share a few things with you guys with that. And I will tell you, I am not good. You would think I would be good with technology, but I'm not. And so, hopefully you all can see can you see my slideshow? And
yes.
Can you see my notes?
Yes.
You see my notes? Okay. So I'm like, if I could figure out a way to share, like, this is the part that's like the hard part, is like, how can I share my slideshow without sharing my notes? Is that a possible thing? Now, do you see it without my notes?
Sharing, yeah.
Do you see my
No,
note?
we don't see the notes.
Okay, see, okay, because if you saw what's in my notes, and it'll give all my secrets away, and then like we'd be, you know, a whole nother thing. So, um, just kidding. There's nothing here. I am like an open book, but I wanted you all to see this, and not look at this. And I want you to think about, first, what is mindset? So the dictionary defines mindset as the established set of attitudes held by someone. So my question is what is your mindset? Do you generally think about the positive or the negative in a situation? Are you a Pollyanna or a Debbie Downer? And so I like this picture because this is such a great reminder, and especially in the sense of recruiting, when we think about where we are as a company, and like when we are focused on that negative, we are looking at the glass half full or half empty instead of half full. And technically the glass is always full, right? It has air and water. So the opportunity is always there. And so I want to kind of walk through this with you guys, and I'm going to give you 7 steps to change your mindset. I'm going to go through this really quickly. If you have questions on it later, that's great. But I don't want to take up all the time on this. I just want to share it, like I said, just really quick. So the first thing is starting your day with a positive mindset is really important. And so I do this the night before. So before I go to bed, I am going, or that, you know, before you leave your office, thinking about what needs to get done, because when those things are in our mind, it stops us from doing the things that need to get done because we're focused on all the things that have to get done, if that makes sense. So write all those things down, such as if you need more bookings on your calendar, or if you need to wash 2 loads of clothes, or, you know, pay tuition at your school or whatever, have all that written down. So it's not cluttering up your mind, and you have time and you know, like you have that space in your mind of being creative and thinking of how you can grow your team and how you can move forward. And so, for instance, I will also write my focus, and I'll say, like, if I know that I need to focus on recruiting, then I could say, I will message X people about the business opportunity. So I go to bed thinking about that. And what happens is your subconscious mind will start to think about, who can I ask? And you'll be sleeping, but your subconscious mind is going to be thinking about, oh, you know what? I should ask Sally Smith because I think maybe she'd be interested in the business. Or you'll think of a recruit lead that you hadn't talked to in months and things like that. Or if I have just if I'm going to know I'm going to have a lot of coaching calls as directors, we coach our team, right? So I might write my intention is I'm going to help 3 people grow. So setting that intention helps you to be in a positive space of what you need to get done the next day. And don't worry about what it looks like. And that's why it says do it sloppy. So just write all that stuff down to get it out of your brain. And then you can reorganize it and set your intentions and then prioritize the 3 things that you need to get done. So for instance, if your calendar isn't full, that is the thing you have to get done, because you're not going to be able to recruit if you don't have the parties on your schedule. So that should be that priority thing, those money-making activities, not scrolling Facebook, but money-making activities, things like booking those parties, you know, searching for those recruit leads, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. And so things like that. The second thing is I want to talk about is Miracle Morning, is getting your day set off right. And so you can look up Miracle Morning on YouTube. It's also a book called Miracle Morning. I watched the YouTube. I've never read his book, but it focuses on these 6 intentions of prayer, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and writing. And it'll help you to really transform your mindset to get to the place that you need to be. I will tell you that for me, doing this thing and having this morning routine was really hard to switch to, because I homeschool, right? I should be able to sleep in. I don't have to get up and get my kids on a bus, but I chose to make a sacrifice getting up earlier so that I'm ready for that. So I set an alarm and I started becoming a morning person, even though I wasn't. Now I just automatically wake up. I got up at 5:30 this morning because I wanted to, not because I had to. And doing this changed my culture so that I could share it with my team and I could get the things done that I needed to get done. Because you're not going to find time in your day anywhere except in the morning. So, and just remember, everything is hard before it's easy. So, okay. The next one is have strong affirmations. If you don't have strong recruiting affirmations, then that's a great place to start, because again, your subconscious mind will follow your foremost thoughts. And so if you're saying things like, it's hard to recruit, I can't recruit, nobody wants to join my team, that's the thing that your mind is going to focus on. So you want to have those strong affirmations. And these, you guys, are the affirmations I say to myself every day. I share with people openly. I grew up in an abusive alcoholic home. And so I had to have strong mindset. When I was in 7th grade, I had a reading and English teacher, took me under her wing and told me, never say negative things about yourself because your mind will remember them. And I didn't understand affirmations at the time, but that stuck with me. And so now I know that as an adult, if I don't say my affirmations, then I start to go down that rabbit trail and I start to think about how horrible of a leader I am or whatever that I can't do, instead of thinking of what I have to offer these people. And so, saying what you want to come true, even if you're not recruiting 6 people a month, say it, because then you will start to get to that point and become the person you want to be. So saying, I am a strong and confident, whatever title you want to be. I love how easily I attract go-getters and self-starters to my team. Helps me to recruit up instead of recruiting the people who are going to sell, like do minimums. It helps me to have the power and and just the ability to ask people who are, who are, and I don't mean this ugly because I'm just thinking of but the people who are a little bit above the line, I guess I should say, instead of going to the bottom, recruiting the people that you would think, doctors, lawyers, all these people. I can remember somebody saying one time that they recruited their gynecologist. And so, things like that is the people that you would never think would be interested in our business. And so just like that thought. So it helps you just to look for those people. So next is, Oh, so ask yourself, if you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do, have, or be? Create your affirmations as if those things have already come to fruition. So like I was saying, if you want to be an excellence awards achiever in recruiting, then start saying those things out loud. And because anybody can do that. So 15 qualified recruits gets you excellence awards in recruiting. And so if you're saying that I am an excellence awards achiever, I'm a recruiting excellence awards achiever, I'm a trifecta excellence awards achiever. So, really going for the gold and go for the 3 and 4 categories. So it's a great place to be. The next thing about mindset is staying above the line. And this is a really big one because it makes me so sad when I go on to director success and I see people that are bashing the company or bashing a decision that was made or talking bad about things when, it's easy to take that path, but take the high road instead. Because with all the challenges in the world, it is so easy to complain to consultants, to complain to other people, especially, like I said, all the things that's been going on or whatever. But you never want to be a stumbling block to someone else's business. And when you're upset, I know you can take it to your uplines. You have amazing uplines in this organization. And so, the thing is, do you want to be the salt and the light to others, or do you want to breed negativity? And so again, when it comes to recruiting, if you're talking negative about the company, you're not going to be thinking about recruiting because you're going to be thinking about that, whatever distrust or whatever you have built. And I know the other NEDs that were with us at Chairman can tell you, the company loves us. They will do anything for us. And knowing that, listening to them and having conversations about how they can better this business, it warms my heart to share the opportunity because I know that they have the best intentions for us. And so that's a great thing. And if you ever get into that, because sometimes we do get into that, that feelings of negativity, that's where you take it to somebody from the home office or your upline and talk through that, because it's never okay to vent on an open forum. And so, and same thing with your team, because when you see that negativity, that will also affect the recruiting of your team. And it's if you ever buy strawberries and there's, you don't see them, they look nice and juicy and red and ripe and beautiful. And then you bring them home and the next day they're moldy because Taylor, my daughter's she's put her hands over the camera. So then they, all of them turn moldy, and that's what happens in your team page. And so it really can affect your culture of your team really quickly and stop people from recruiting. So it's important to keep that positivity and that upbeat space on your team pages, being the Tiggers instead of the Eeyores. And, it doesn't have to be fairy tale. If somebody's struggling, then they can share that. but it's sharing it in a different way of looking for being solution driven and solution minded. And so, because that's going to help with, it's going to help with your recruiting, because when people love who they're around, they're going to want to bring more people to that. So it will help to change the culture. And this is another one I think is funny is, this is a true story. Back in February, there was an article in the Washington state that had a goldfish. The Washington state had a goldfish problem because people were putting their pet goldfish into the lake and it was wrecking the ecosystem. And so who would have ever thought that a goldfish would get this big? And so, and the reason I share this is because if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And so if you're like struggling with recruiting or you want to get better at recruiting, then you want to find the top recruiters and get to know them and ask them questions, because that is how you learn, is when you raise the bar on your friends, because you're a combination of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And so you want to be in the middle. So if you're in a room, you want to have people that you can lift up, but then also people that are above you so that you can learn from them. And so as far as recruiting, like I was saying, find those people that are the top recruiters in the organization or outside this organization that you can befriend and start to get to know and learn from. And so, and I can remember that when I was joined the first Lead Plus program, and the home office programs are amazing. It's a great place to meet those people. And I felt like a tadpole in the ocean. And once I started to stretch myself and learn from others, that is where my recruiting changed, because I wasn't a strong recruiter at the time. But after joining that and starting to network with other people, I became I started earning excellence awards in recruiting every year. And so it's a great way to do that. And then number 6 is to be authentic, because when you're authentic, that is where people will be attracted to you. You don't have to be perfect, just be human and show up. Because when you are fake, people see through that. And it's hard to recruit when you're being somebody that you're not. But when they see you as your authentic self, that's where people will be attracted to you, because they will love you for who you are. And they're going to, they'll be more likely to join your team when they see you, and you're going to get people that will connect with you and will trust you, because people do business with people that they know, that they like, and they trust. And so with that, when you're authentic and you're showing up as yourself, then you'll see, you'll meet people in different ways. And this one, number 7, is be a pig and not a chicken, because chickens lay eggs. I love chickens. We have 13 chickens. But a chicken lays an egg and goes on, but a pig gives his all to become the bacon. And so I'm not saying that you have to devote every minute to your business, but so many consultants get stuck in a should mentality. Should I do this? Should I do that? And they doubt themselves in their business. It's a wishy-washy level of commitment. And so author Rory Vaden calls these should heads. And I always think that's the funniest thing, because you don't want to be a should head. And so instead, go all in and ask yourself, how can I recruit 6 people a month? How can I earn excellence awards in recruiting? How can I promote to an executive director? And, so on and so forth, because your brain will start to try to find a solution. Ideas will pop up, and then you just go for them. So don't ask yourself, should I? Just go for it, because you never know how far you will go when you do this. So, okay. So I'm gonna stop this for a minute. And so the reason that I wanted to share, so like I said, like when we're talking about recruiting and developing directors and things, and it all works together. So your mindset makes a huge difference in how you will grow. And if you have a negative mindset, you're not going to recruit as strongly, and it's going to be harder to develop leaders. And when your friends are saying recruiting is hard, that's what you believe. So my question is, what is your belief today in recruiting? Do you believe that we have the best opportunity out there? Do you believe that you can help people get their business started and earn some extra income for the holidays? Like, do you believe that someone can join this business and fast track to director in 90 days? And I can remember I can remember sharing with somebody that I needed to make $2,500 a month. And their response was, oh, that would be really hard to do in this business. Is it? So their mindset transferred to me, and it held me back because I thought, gosh, like it, maybe that is hard to do. But now I have that confidence. Somebody could join this business and within 30 days, I can help them make that income. Now, I don't guarantee that, but I'm saying I know I've seen people do it. I know that people can do it and make much, much more. But so it's really important to, like I said, to check your belief and that belief triangle, because your belief will fuel your actions, which will fuel your results. And so remember that. So, all right. Recruiting also has a lot to do with consistency. We know we need to do it. We know we need to ask our host 5 times, ask the rock stars in our party. But my question for you is, do you have a system in place for it? Are you scheduling time to do your recruiting activities? Because many people say they're bad at recruiting, but what we have found is that most of the time, it's not that they're bad at recruiting, they're bad at asking. And so I have specific times that, when I send out my recruiting messages, and this helps me stay on track because you have a system for it. And so, oops, I hit the wrong button. Hold on. So I'll share this again. So I'm going to come back to this. Oh, that was all. Okay. So this is my daily checklist that I created. And this is, if you remember, as a director, we have RSVP. So you've got your recruiting, your sales, your very new people, and your performers. So I asked myself, like, kind of sat down and thought about, when do I do these activities? When should I do these activities? In a perfect world, and I can send this to Nancy Joe, like a screenshot of this, so you can have this, but this, so, and this may not work for you, but this is my system of what works for me in my business. So for instance, you see these recruiting messages on Mondays, the week before a party starts, I send out that first recruiting message. And that's where you say, oh my gosh, Nancy Joe, I am so excited about your party coming up next week. But before I set it up, I wanted to ask, what do you think about flipping your party and this being your launch party? You could get started for as little as $41. And I can help you earn income from the party while earning your free products. What do you think? Something like that. So that's a week before the party starts, or like, going into the party. And then their party gets going. And then as the party's starting, I'm asking them that second time, oh my gosh, looks like your friends love Pampered Chef and they love you. Nancy Joe, have you thought about any more about like giving this a try? Because it looks like you would have a lot of support from your friends. And then the third one, like this is like the Monday as the party is kind of going. So the party is kind of started taking off. Usually a lot of times they'll have $200 in sales from the weekend or, or more. And so you can say, oh my gosh, Nancy Joe, do you know you have already earned $25 kit credit? So what would you think? Like, or, when we close at your party, you could get started. And that means like, as of right now, you could start for as little as $16. And I kind of like, that's a softer, like in the middle, because at this point, I'm the consultant for the show because they didn't get started. So you can keep going. And then at the end, but just kind of getting them ramped up to sign at the end. Some consultants flip the party at that point. I don't tell consultants to do that because I know the sales are important to them. So if they don't flip it at the beginning, then then just keep, talking about it. Because at this point, if they're showing interest, it's more of like encouraging instead of asking, if that makes sense. And then it goes into the fourth one. Oh my gosh, you already have 2 bookings. This is to help you start your business. And then before we close, like, are you sure you don't want to give this a try? Because really, like, you would be so great at this. And so, so you think about that. So, sending out and asking all those 5 times, it's really important. And so many people like kind of shy away from asking 5 times. I'll ask consultants like, how many times are you asking? If they're struggling with recruiting, how many times are you asking? And they're like 2 or 3 and something. And so, the reason that is so important, I feel like I get off track. I will tell y'all, like, I am a squirrel personality. Like, that's why I have notes. Cause if I don't follow my notes, then like, I'll start talking about, I don't know, the squirrels in my backyard, literally. But, so hold on. So pause that thought for just a second. Oh, I know what I was going to say is because I'm going to backtrack and just say the same thing. So you do that with your host coaching messages, but it's the same thing for your rockstar messages and your Q&A messages. I just want to make sure to share that also, that you have that system of what days you do, what days do you send out those rockstar messages? Because if you have specific times that you do those, you're going to be more likely to get them done because it's scheduled on your calendar. And so, so that was what I was going to say. And then, I know I had this somewhere. I think it's later on. My mind was getting off track because I wasn't following my notes. See, I do know what I was. Okay, let me backtrack so I can make sure I don't leave something out. So, so the idea is you are sharing something beneficial, exciting, and new. I learned that from Becky Adams, and it's stuck with me. And it's so each time, if you notice those 5 times, it's not the same thing. I'm not saying, do you want to join my team? Do you want to join my team? Do you want to join my team? It's something beneficial, exciting, and new. So something different each time that helps you to always be offering something a little bit different. And like I said, same thing for Rockstar messages, Q&A messages. Then when you send the messages, try to make it personal and mention something that you learned about them during the party. And if you don't know anything about them, at least use their name in the message. Nothing annoys me more than when I get a "Hey girl" message. Like you couldn't even put my name in. Like I know I get it, you're copying and pasting, but you couldn't even take the time to put my name in. So at least do that so that it's a little personal. And I'll tell you, I'm the queen of copy and paste, but I try to put something in there if I can that will, I at least put their name in there because I think that's really important. People love the sound of their name. They love to see their name in print. They love to hear their name out loud. So it's important to try to make that personal. And it's also important that you're keeping it short and sweet and teaching our consultants to do the same. When we ask, we're asking one question and we're waiting for the answer. So it could be something like, and thank you, Yvonne Letitia, for sharing these words with me. So it's, have you ever thought about earning extra income or just trying something for fun with flexibility? And I love that because it touches on different areas and it's not just about money. And so then we want to validate their concern, offer a solution, and then ask another question. And this is where I do screenshots with consultants or have them set up 3-way conversations. I like screenshots because they're still in control of the conversation, but teaching them what to say and how to respond back. And it helps back and forth. And then it gets to a point where you can be like, what do you think you should say at this point? And then they can tell you what they would say. And then they, and it's like, it's a learning moment because you can be like, well, you might want to change that a little bit. But so things like that. But another way is if you remember, feel, felt, found. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. We have found. And so, and like an example of this would be, like, I don't have the money for a kit. I totally understand. I know how that feels. And so, I felt the same way when I started my business 16 years ago. But what I found is for only $41, I could change my life. And so something like that. Yvonne Platisha, those words, and I can put them in the chat too. It was, have you ever thought about earning extra income or just trying something for fun with flexibility? And I'll put it, hold on, let me put it to send all. There you go. Okay. So, that, the reason that you say feel, felt, found, and, or, like the validate, offer solution, and then ask another question is because it's important to validate what they're saying. If you just discount it and be like, oh no, that's fine. It's like, it's only $41. You're not genuinely listening to what they're saying. For instance, when I started, $41, like I think I paid $99 for my kit. I can't remember, but it was like a lot of money to me. It was like, when you can't even afford groceries, it's hard to justify spending money on a business. And so validate what they're saying and kind of help them talk through it. And I wanted to share this, and I will share this with Nancy Jo also. This is came from Kristen Waringa. And y'all, just so you know, if you don't know me very well, I am the queen of resourcefulness. Like I am not creative, but I'm resourceful. And so everything I get comes from somebody else somewhere along the way. So, so this was like a lot of the words that were, floating around that people had, and Kristen Moringa put it all in one document. And so she shared this on a call she does monthly, several months back. And I love this because it takes that, gives you everything that you need all in one document to help you with what to say. So when you're asking your host the 5 times, it's, and of course it'd be a little bit different right now. And I think, and this hasn't been updated. I think I have an updated version. I'll have to find, I grabbed the wrong one, but so it asks them the 5 times. And then also for your people who ask questions about the business and the party rock stars, the people who are commenting, it gives you a starting place for what to say. And that's great for new consultants. And then this is where it comes with the validate, offer a solution, and then ask another question. So it would be like this. So they say something that they are, like too busy, and they say, oh, I totally get that. The beautiful thing about Pampered Chef is that it comes right alongside everything else you have going on in life. You can do as much or as little as you'd like. It's really flexible. And then ask another question. Like, what would you do if you had an extra $200 to $500 a month? Anything fun. So it just walks through, like, grab one here, and grab here. And it helps you to formulate what to say. And what happens is when you do this enough times, then you start to learn the pattern of how you can respond for people. This document also has like how to dig a little deeper to answer questions, common questions, concerns, and things like that. And so I won't spend a lot of time on this because I'm going to send it to you all and you can look it over and stuff. But it's great because you want to, like I said, to validate and offer a solution and then ask another question. So another thing is with recruiting is we want to make sure to teach our team, just because someone doesn't answer doesn't mean they aren't interested. And so I actually have here. Okay. So this here, what was that? Oh, that was what I was saying before. Okay. So here is an example. So this was an actual conversation I had with a girl just like a week ago or something. I had dropped the ball. My grandmother passed away, and then I had all these open shows, and then we, like had a director retreat followed by chairman circle, and I dropped the ball and I just didn't close her party. So I had asked her about the opportunity, and she never responded. So I'd come back to her and I shared, hey, here's what all you have with your show. But then I was like, I'd asked before, but didn't get a response. Have you thought any more about giving Pampered Chef a try? Because you could start the business for free with part of your free product value. And she said, yes. That was so unexpected, but it was great because it's a great example because she ignored my question before. And that it's a great thing to teach our team that just because they don't respond doesn't mean that they aren't interested. And so it's really important also that we are asking our hosts 5 times, because that's how many times people need to be asked before they will say yes. If you don't follow up, someone else will. And, it's a hard lesson. But basically you're getting the hard ask out of the way, and someone else is going to come along and ask that 5th time and recruit them just like that. And truth be told, that host had been asked by a previous consultant on my team, and I knew her. The girl isn't on my team anymore. And this girl then hosted a party, and I asked her. So I just asked the 5th time. Kudos to me. Way to go. All right. So like, think about that, is like, how many times do people fall through the cracks? Anybody ever had a recruit lead fall through the cracks? You stopped talking to them or stopped asking. And then next thing you know, you see them sign up on somebody else's team, or even worse is with another company, right? It's because like we didn't follow up. And y'all, I'm embarrassed to say this, but it's happened to me twice this year. 2 people who I asked like a year ago and just hadn't kept in contact with. And then next thing you know, that they signed up on somebody else's team. And I'm, I'm happy for them. I'm glad that they got started. I'm glad that they're with Pampered Chef, but I'm like, dang, that could have been my team. So, but it's okay. It's like no hard feelings. So it's why it's so important to have a system for this, for that follow-up, and even a system for tracking recruit leads for later on when another special comes around. So if you've been around for any length of time, you will know these words. The fortune is in the follow-up. So we know that And so that's why it's important in having that rolling recruiting contact list. And so once again, once we sign the recruit, sorry, changing subject now. So, and hopefully if y'all have questions, I hope y'all can understand me. Like I talk really fast because I drink too much coffee in my life. I should probably slow down, but I just, I just have lots of energy, genuinely, and I truly do. Okay. So once you sign a recruit, how do we work with them to get off to a strong start and work towards fast track? And so as soon as someone signs up, I set up that first call with them, and it's really important to have that first call within 24 to 48 hours. So it could be something like, like, hey, Patty, welcome to our team. Let's set up a time to help you get started. Are you available tomorrow afternoon around 2:30 p.m.? And so then once we set up a time, then I'll say the next step is to log onto the Pampered Chef website and click the purple box that says dash and work through the welcome and getting started sections until you get to the spot that says connect with your recruiter. And so then, they get to doing that. And then before our call, I'm going to go on to dash and look at what their goals are. And this can, these are really good because it can show you how much money they're interested in making, and if they're interested in recruiting, if they're interested in moving up in the career plan. And no matter what, I'm still going to start them the same way because they might just not know, or they might be scared to put that on paper or, or to check the box. So on that first call, I'm going to get to know them. I'm going to talk about why they got started and what they would like Pampered Chef to do for them, and for their family. I'm going to walk through the rewards with them and then give them the words to get bookings. And the best part is, and me being resourceful, this is what I love the most, is it's all in dash. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. And so, so I'll share with you somewhere. So when you go into dash, you're going to see there is the fast track your new consultants. And so every time that you recruit, you get this little thing. I think it comes up every time you recruit. I don't know. It's here. And maybe because I didn't complete it, I don't know, but it is under the fast track your new consultant. And so when you go into that, it shows what you can say on those calls. There's the welcome and overview, but the call actually walks you through the entire thing. And so you don't have to do it yourself. You don't have to come up with this, but it actually says, open the call and even say this, even tells you like the words to say. Why is it not coming up? Oh, there it goes. Okay. So, it's like, congratulations, welcome to our team, blah, blah, blah. I love connecting all this. And then it's, and so you can just go through all of these words to help them get off to a strong start. And it even, I love this because it even goes through of, and in the bottom somewhere, what if they don't show up? They skip the call. What if they're a rock star right out of the gate and they already had parties booked? What if they say, anybody ever have this? I just wanted a discount on the product. I don't want to do this business. I just wanted a discount. And so it helps you with words to say, or if they seem overwhelmed. And so, so hopefully you all have seen that in Dash. That is what I use to start my new consultants and help them get off to a strong start. And I'll tell you, I am confident when I'm telling consultants that we want to get 4 parties a week. Like I'm really confident in saying that they need to do that. And we'll start with the launch party and the first week. And or if they just had a party, I might run their first party starting this weekend and have them start booking parties for next weekend, like 2 weeks out, because we want to help our new consultants get to making money right away, because that will give them confidence in moving forward. Statistics show 20% of consultants that hit 5,000 in their first 30 days will fast track to director. That's pretty awesome odds. Like that's really awesome. And so your belief in them and mentoring consistently is what will make the difference. And I have found that the more in touch a consultant keeps with me as they're getting started, the more successful they will be. Because consultants will give up on their goals, but as it's our job as a leader to encourage them and help them to continue to move forward. So usually if they aren't taking action, it's because there's a fear or something that's holding them back. And so we want to try to help them work, to work through what's going on and help them to find success. every single recruit that comes onto our team could be your next director. So we want to treat them like one. And I match my time with their efforts. If they're doing the work, I'll keep showing up to help them, because you never know who those next directors are going to be. And I'm always surprised. Are y'all like that? Like surprised by the ones that promote to director and the ones that don't? Like, you're like, man, I just knew Sally was going to be a superstar and she was a dud. And then, but then you'll have somebody that comes out of the gate and like, you're not so sure about them, but then they are a superstar. It's amazing. You never know what's going on inside and who has the spirit. And so this is why we want to give everyone the star treatment. And when they're starting, some may not move forward quickly, and that's okay. For those consultants, slow down and work at their pace. As long as they're working, I'll keep showing up for them. And those people may surprise you. Once they get some skills under their belt, they may be a superstar. As people are getting started and showing potential, I invite them to our director bound. If you're not doing a director bound, I really recommend it, especially right now. Like, this is the time to really be helping people to move their business forward. And ours is a Saturday morning, 30-minute call. We go through basics, bookings, host coaching, recruiting systems, but the accountability is what makes the difference, because those skills can be learned anywhere. It's that accountability, and that personal accountability is what will make the difference in somebody moving forward, that you believe in them. And the number one focus is always bookings, because I say that, like, really they need a minimum of like 8 parties or more on their calendar for the month if they're wanting to promote. And so it's really helpful if those parties are in the first half of the month to help them move forward. So we want to keep them focused on bookings throughout the whole program, because that's going to set them up for success and help them to be in front of enough people to move forward, right? And keeping in touch with your consultants working to fast track is super important, because they're going to give up on their goals and they'll settle a lot of times. I think it's also important to keep away from the D questions, but instead ask the W and the H questions. And that means, like, instead of saying, did you do this? Did you do that? Ask them questions that make, set expectations. And this should be for like anybody, really. So instead say something like, what did your host say when you asked them about the business the first time? And if they said, that they said no, they weren't interested, great. That's normal for them to say no at first. What did your host say about the business the second time, the third time you asked, and stuff like that? And so how many guests are in your party that you have running parties? How many people commented 2 or more times during the party? Because that's going to help them look for those rock stars. What did they say when you followed up to ask about the business? And the other thing is key in helping someone promote is belief. Belief, belief, belief. Believe in them when they don't believe in themselves, and also keep it in front of them. And I found that most consultants, when they're going for it, if they're going to give up, it's usually around the 20th of the month that they start to be like, yeah, not going to happen this month, and they'll give up on it. But you got to keep encouraging them and talk to them daily to help them move through their business forward. I actually just had a new idea that I'm trying out. So I don't have any like statistics or if it works or not, but I thought this was a great idea, is using Project Broadcast to send a daily message to the people who are in director bound to ask them what they're doing for their business that day. So what have you done for your business to help move the needle forward? And this is going to help to hold them accountable to their goals and continue to be consistent in their business. And so, like I said, just came to mind after Chairman's Circle that I was like, oh, that's like just this. It was one of those things. How can I? And it came to mind. So I'm going to go with it and see what happens. So, okay. So that was like a lot. I hope that y'all got some tips, and I'd love if you have questions, because I know that I'm a little crazy. Like I just go in different directions and stuff. I will say my enthusiasm probably helps more than anything. But yeah, so ta-da.
Take a breath, Melody. You are wonderful. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So many things that could get us on that track of success. So thank you so much. And of course, everybody's saying, where can we find it? Where can we find it? Yeah, I know you'll get that stuff to me, those couple of charts and Kristen's words, because and I've seen those before, and probably the team has seen them before, but it's so important to be reminded of the things that we have that help us, that are systematic. You talked about systems and consistency so much, and I agree with you 100%. Absolutely. Absolutely. Getting lots of thank you, thank you, thank you, thank yous. And yes, 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 yes.
Wow.
Does anybody have a question for Melody?
They're all on mute. So if you guys need to, or you
Yeah.
can put it in the chat, but everybody's pretty much on mute. So
Yeah, I think put it in the chat. That makes it
Okay.
easy. Debbie Bottom says she can't wait to watch this again. You know, simply amazing.
good.
Uh,
Good.
Marna loved your charts too. And you know, those are very easy things that we can keep ourselves in actionable, income producing, just that track. It's just awesome. Thank
So
you.
those were daily, those were your weekly. Can you bring that up again, Melody? Because those were amazing. I feel like I'm like, part paper, part digital, part, like, this girl knows what she's doing here. Okay, so that's a daily checklist. So these are things that happen.
Yeah, Monday through Friday.
Yeah, and I have Saturday and Sunday, but I typically don't do much on the weekend. So I just like just do my host coaching and then I can be done. And the way that this came about is because of that scatteredness. Like I knew I needed to do the things, but they were falling through the cracks. So one day I took this whiteboard behind me and I just put up like a calendar and did RSVP and then started and just kind of tried to put out all the things that I needed to get done that I know I need to do, but do fall through the cracks or and all of that. And so and then put it into a chart. And so, and I can share that with you. And I actually have it on
Excel.
Google, on Google Sheets. Yeah. So it's even editable if you wanted to move things like, oh, like I don't really do that on Mondays. I do it on Tuesdays or whatever. So you can move it around.
Well, and again, remember to make sure you take a copy of it and not change the
the one that
original.
I share is a view only, so you can't change it. But what you can do is when you open it up, if you go to file and then you can make a copy and then you can edit it.
Perfect. Good. And RSVP means recruits, sales, very important people, and
performers.
There we go. I just had a brain freeze. Yeah. So yeah, it's a great one we had years and years ago. But you guys, I want you to know those solid trainings from a long time ago, they still matter. It's still the same. When you have enough bookings on your calendar, you're confident to recruit, you're confident to share the message because it's working for you. When you don't, and I know that's what people are struggling with right now, is not having enough bookings on their calendar. But when you don't have that, we're in Pampered Chef, we're really honest people. We're like, I wouldn't share something that's not working for me. So that's so in your mindset. It's so important to help you be confident in what you're offering and what you're saying. So please follow Melody's instructions and actions. And when you have enough bookings on the calendar, you are going to be making money and see enough people. You're going to contact enough people. And what I love about the fact of the virtual party compared to the live parties are just awesome. And I love being with people and I miss being with people. Okay. But the virtual side, you are going to touch so many more lives than you possibly could than with the live cooking show. So, and for those of you that are going back to, I like to say going back to the well and constantly asking the same people, what you need to do is give them a special gift if they introduce you to 5 new people, or if their friends introduce you to some new people. Because that's going to be those branches that go out, And so really encourage you to do that. All right. So I'm
Kathy Lafferty has a question. There's a couple questions on here, Nance. Is your team, is that on your team board in the background, Melody? Is that your team board in the background?
This right here is there's a picture of each director on my team. And And what I usually do typically is as they go green, I move them to the other side. But this month it's not accurate, but they're all there. They're just not where they should be.
Okay.
Awesome.
And then on your daily chart, what does early bookings mean?
So early bookings is like, is when you send out those messages while the party's still going on and just saying like, would you like to be a surprise booking and help the host? And so it's just, I do like a majority of my booking reach outs at the end of the party, but those are just the ones throughout, like early on, if that makes sense.
Okay. Mhm. There was
That's it.
another one for the
So
first
Jen,
call.
go ahead.
Yeah, you want to go ahead?
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Dave.
Okay, for the first call, I try to keep it 20 minutes and basically revisit their goals, share how to accomplish them with rewards and how to start booking. Are you doing other calls after that, or do you invite them to another team training after the first call? Or in other words, do you do 4 one-on-one calls with them the first month?
So I do 3, and that's also what's in Dash. So the first one is all about bookings. The second one, we come back, and if they have bookings, we talk about host coaching and moving forward. If they don't have bookings, we regroup and talk about why they don't have bookings. And I help them work through that. A lot of times they won't have booking because they sent 5 messages and their best friend told them no, even though I said that would happen. And so then I have to like reaffirm them and tell them that's normal. Everything's great. Send out messages. And then we set up another call. But typically 3 calls, like 3 good calls. Cause then the third call is like how to run a party and just kind of walking them through, getting them, excited and all that kind of stuff.
And those are
Basically,
one-on-one.
yes, I personally, and this is why I do this only for my personal team, but I do one-on-one calls because I want to connect with them and help them to move forward. I'm willing, and I've even been asked, like, okay, what if you recruit 20 people in a week? My personal team has done that in the past, and I still would do. I remember a time when I had 20 one-on-one messages or calls in one, like it was like they recruited 20 people in a weekend. And so I had 20 calls over the course of a few days. And to me, it's worth it because those one-on-one calls are like gold to helping them get started, because think of how good that feels to them to have that one-on-one time with me helping them. And I did see another message that I think got messed up or missed. And it said, if you have a person that doesn't respond after several times of reach outs after they joined, you keep trying. No, I will direct them to the page. If you need my help, I'm here. But this is why, is it's easier to give birth than to resurrect the dead. I'm not going to I'm not a tow truck. I'm not going to tow people along. I want to work with somebody that wants to work with me. If they don't, that's fine. That, you don't know what you're missing. You're missing all this fun. I'm just kidding. But I put the fun in dysfunctional. I'm just saying, but it's, like they're missing out on that. And so that's their choice. Right. And so I'm like,
And it sounds like you help your team members with onboarding.
I do. In my personal team, I help my personal team with onboarding. And then after they have their third recruit is when I start to coach them on how to do the call. So it's like the John Maxwell, method of, I lead the first 3 calls and they're on it with me. And then the 4th call, they lead and I listen. And then the 5th call, they lead and I'm not there. And then they tell me how it went. And so that's, so it's like that way we can work through that. They can hear me do it and then they can do it. Yeah. So.
And if they're not at all interested in recruiting, I mean, if they just somebody just signed up on their team, you just
I invite them to the call anyways, because it's still their recruit. So sometimes they join me, sometimes they don't. So it's really up to them.
Okay.
And there was one other because it was a direct message. So it was, what type of parties do you do? I am all virtual. When Taylor, the one that was in here, craziness, when she was 1, I started doing all virtual, and I do home shows every once in a while, but I honestly choose not to. So it's preference. So I will, I don't search for them.
Right. Well, and if your business is strong and you're going forward and it's working for you, why would you change? I just know some people it feels like they've run out of virtual, which we really haven't if we really dig deep. But they're wanting to go back to the live because that's what many people started with, and that's what they love. So,
Yes.
And what we're finding with the lives, just to let you guys know, we're doing it seems like we're doing very little cooking. We're making something for them to munch on when they get there, and doing something that's quick, and just talking about a few products. It's not lasting more than 30 minutes, but the sales, and they're there to visit their friends, right? They're there to visit. So you need to give them, you need to be the reason to gather, but then let them go, let them within 30 minutes, let them go. So, so I know Paula Brockner's been doing some lives, and she's been coaching me on what she's been doing, and it's been really, really great. So, but thank you, Melody. We're going to stop the recording.
Wait, Nance, one more question. Do you personally do Facebook parties or table, or do you do other things like Zoom?
I just, Facebook's working for me. So if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, awesome. Let's stop the recording.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Melody. I so appreciate
Melody, you were awesome. Thank you so much for doing this for us, and for encouraging us. It's so great to just hear what other people are doing on other teams and success. You've had tremendous success. So thank you so much for sharing with us. I so appreciate it. Yes. Thank you. Everybody loved it. And I know they'll be listening again and again. So thank you so much. Blessings to you for being here with us, for sure.
Thank you. I'm honored that you invited me. And I'm going to go feed my hooligans lunch. So I hope y'all have a fabulous day.
We'll see you later. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Daddy, did you stop the recording?